Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing a video talking to you about this muzzle device here that I have attached to my 11.5-inch BCM upper in 5.56. This is the Sail Comp from Strike Industries. As you can tell, the shape of those little blast chambers there on the side kind of resemble the sail of a ship, which is I guess where they get the name for it. This was recommended to me by someone during one of my last muzzle device comparison videos, so I decided to give it a try. I honestly haven't had it very long, but I've already got well over 1,000 rounds through it. I took this rifle through the 2-day rifle course with Spartan Training Concepts, so I ran this thing really hard both days. Like I said, over 1,000 rounds just in that class alone, and it's been holding up well. And because of all the experience I have with it now, I already feel comfortable giving you a review on it. So one of the first things I'm going to do is just get some of the specs out of the way instead of taking a whole lot of time trying to throw a bunch of numbers at you, which most people aren't going to care about anyway. I was going to put them over here on the side of the screen. You can pause the video, read them for yourself if it matters to you. But one of the big specs that mattered to me when I bought this and why I bought this was its overall length. As you can tell, this thing is actually really short. Now, just for comparison, I'm going to grab my 300 Blackout upper, which has the Strike Industries King Comp, and I want to be able to show you a little bit of a length comparison between the two muzzle devices. So here we have the two muzzle devices, both of which are from Strike Industries. This one on my right, your left, is the King Comp on my 300 Blackout, and this one on my left, your right, is the Sail Comp from Strike Industries. As you can tell, trying to hold them end to end, the King Comp is almost double the length. Now, that's not a huge issue, but if something you're looking for is a small overall length, then the Sail Comp is definitely a very good option. And considering I have this on an SBR, that's one of the things that I wanted. One of the downsides of the King Comp is just how long it is. So whenever it comes to comps or brakes or anything like that, the main question is, does it do what it's supposed to do? And I can honestly tell you, absolutely, this thing keeps your muzzle flat and makes this thing not move at all. To try to demonstrate that, I'm going to do the same test that I've done on a couple other muzzle brake videos, where I have a target set up at about 10 yards. Unfortunately, my GoPro seems to be acting up right now, so I'm not going to have a downrange camera. So what I'm just going to do is shoot the 10 rounds, see how fast I can get those 10 rounds in that target ring, which is about 2 inches. So not a terribly large or terribly small target for only 10 yards, but I want to see how fast I can get this thing to return on target and get those 10 rounds down as fast as possible. So just so you can tell what I'm shooting at, if you haven't seen any of my other videos, I'm going to pan you over, and so you can see that target. As you can see, it's just like a mini-sized silhouette, and that little red area in the center is going to be my point of aim. Now, because of height over bore considerations, I'm obviously going to have to probably aim at the very top edge of it, if not a little higher, to keep all the rounds in the red. But hopefully we'll be able to make those accommodations as we go. I don't want to re-zero this thing just for that test. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead, throw my ears back on, and juice this thing up. Just FYI, the ammo that I'm running for this test is Fiocchi 55 grain full metal jacket. This stuff is excellent. This stuff specifically I paid for myself. Fiocchi did supply me with the ammunition for that American Rifleman class, and I liked it so much that I've been buying it on my own dime since that class. So I don't have a shot timer or anything, so I'm just gonna make the decision myself as to when I'm gonna start, and hopefully we'll see how fast I can get 10 rounds downrange. This is going to be my first and only attempt, so I'm not going to try to, race it and see how many times I can do this, because targets get expensive when you're doing stuff like that. So let's see what I can do. Okay, not bad. All of them look like they're in the ring. I probably could have gone a little bit faster, but that should still give us a pretty good idea, and hopefully give you an idea at home how much this muzzle was moving around. Okay, so as you can see, all 10 rounds are here in this red ring. My point of aim was right at this number 9 right here on the top of the ring, just to try to keep all those shots in that circle. All 10 shots are in there, so this is definitely going to count. I'll look back through the footage to get an actual time for all 10 shots, but it felt pretty quick. And like I said, if I had really pushed myself and if I was going to do a bunch of iterations of this, I probably could have gone a little bit faster and still kept them all in that circle. So one of the big downsides when it comes to a muzzle device like this, which is going to be very effective for keeping that muzzle as steady as possible, is you're probably going to get a lot of side blast. Especially when you're dealing with a short barrel like this, which again is an 11.5 inch barrel. When I was taking the American Rifleman class, there were a lot of occasions where you're shooting on your back from the supine position with the muzzle between your legs, or other similar unconventional positions like that. And I could definitely feel this thing like thumping on my legs anytime I was doing that. So there's definitely a significant amount of blast coming off the side of this. There were even occasions where I was shooting over the top of barrels which had a bunch of leaves on them, so below the muzzle device, and I'll try to roll in some head cam footage I have from that, and you'll see just how much it was sending those leaves flying. So if you're shooting off from the prone on the ground, there's definitely going to be a lot of target indicators there. But to hopefully try to demonstrate how much side blast is going on, I'm going to set up this target about maybe between 1 foot and 6 inches. I'll let you know once I get it set up off to the left side of this muzzle device, and we should be able to see some pretty interesting results against the paper. Hopefully also this will give you a nice point of reference for seeing how much the muzzle's moving around while I'm shooting these rounds. Again, I'm probably just going to shoot 10 rounds if the target lasts that long. If not, we'll stop as soon as it's totally destroyed. So I got about 1 foot between the end of the muzzle on the left side and this target, just for reference. Okay, I had this thing stapled in all 4 corners, and yeah, that kind of speaks for itself. Okay, so I stapled this thing back up. I have it in a more supported part of this piece of wood here. As you can see, it's was blown out in the center already. Hopefully this will give us give the target another fair chance. Unfortunately, this thing's going to have to continue its suffering. So let's try this again. And again, we're about 1 foot away from the target. So it didn't tear the paper, but it definitely broke through the 5 or 6 staples that I put in it. Let me just go ahead and finish off this mag, and again, hopefully give you a reference for how much this thing moves. Again, it makes it very easy to keep your sights on target, but it's going to be very unpleasant for anyone standing next to you. So let's go ahead and wrap up here with my final thoughts on this thing. If you're looking for something that's going to keep this muzzle as tame as possible, make you get it back on target as fast as you can, then the Sail Comp is a really good option, especially when you consider the price that this thing's coming in at. It's right around $50. That's always subject to change, obviously. But that sets it in a much lower price bracket than a lot of the other really effective muzzle devices out there as far as compensators or brakes. And then when you think about the overall size of it, you're really not sacrificing much as far as overall length. So that's really, really great. As far as the attachment method, you have a crush washer, which is pretty much the standard. Personally, I prefer shims whenever I can get those. But crush washers, like I said, they're pretty standard, so that's no surprise there. And you can definitely very easily get on there with an AR Armorer's tool or a wrench of any kind. One thing I want to mention too is, as you can see right there, it does give you a hole to be able to pin and weld this thing on if that's something that you want to do. I don't know if it would give you the overall length required to take like a 14.5 barrel to a 16 inch. But again, should you want to be able to pin that on there, then that's definitely something to keep in mind. One other thing too is I know Strike Industries is going to be coming out with a blast shield of sorts that you can put on over some of their muzzle devices. This does not fit into that category, so there's really going to be no way to mitigate the side blast, at least not in the near future, with any accessories coming from Strike Industries. So something to keep in mind as well. Another thing to keep in mind is if you are militia minded and you're going to be working in teams, maybe not this muzzle device, because you're going to make a lot of enemies with your friends or the people who have to be next to you when you're shooting. So keep that in mind. You might want to look somewhere else for that. But again, if you're a competitor or you just like going out and shooting and keeping that muzzle really flat, definitely give the Sail Comp a look. I'll put a link below to where you can find these. I've been a big fan of Strike Industries stuff, as you know, I got other Strike Industries stuff on this, like their CQB Viper stock, and probably a couple, well, actually on this one, not too much other stuff, but on my 300 Blackout, I have a lot of Strike Industries stuff on there, and I'm really liking them. If you're curious more about this rifle, as far as the paint job itself, I used stencils from montactical.com. He's based out of Las Vegas. This is their Viking themed stencil pack. I got the Volknut on this side. This says Till Valhalla in Norse runes. Got another Volknut, got the Horns of Odin over here. They have a bunch of other stuff, but I started running out of space. One of the downsides of an SBR is you don't have as much room to paint. Did it all rattle can myself. If you want, you can send your guns to Montactical down there in Vegas, and he'll Duracode them for you. And I'll tell you, my friend the Haas USMC has had a bunch of guns Duracoded by James down there, and they hold up surprisingly well. Now, me personally, I kind of like the worn look that you get with spray paint. If you can kind of tell more so on this side where it was rubbing up against my gear in the class, you can tell that it's worn down. But again, I like that look. So if you're looking for stencils, they got everything from camo stencils to Spartan stencils to flag stencils, anything you can really think of. They can hook you up and get you setting your gun apart from the rest of the pack, which is always a nice thing to be able to do. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and throw those in the comment section down below. I'll try to get back to you as quick as I can. Definitely check out Strike Industries. Again, the links will be below for that. But as always, I hope you're able to get something out of this video, and I really appreciate you watching.